Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Grace. As you would have seen from the title, today I want to talk how to have better, deeper conversations, how to be a better conversationalist, and generally how to improve your social skills. As somebody who used to be super intimidated by people and really block up socially and feel like I said all the wrong things and really blocked myself from being able to create a depth of an authentic and genuine connection, there are a few things that I've learned that really have allowed me to be at such a great place within my social life, this confidence in my ability to go to a new space and make friends, and most importantly, connect with people on a genuine level. Let's go through my journey a little bit. Yeah, as I mentioned, I used to be very intimidated by certain people. In high school, I was very much swept away by kind of trying to impress people, trying to put on a mask in order for people to like me, trying to present myself in a way that I felt other people would like the most. And of course, that energy never worked. I tended to put other people on a pedestal a lot. As I got older, I moved out of my small hometown to Sydney, a city. I really put myself out there in a lot of areas of life. I started doing acting classes, I started a new job, I did a yoga teacher program, I met many people, and I really learned the art of the conversation, the art of asking questions, and the art of being able to express yourself genuinely to create deep, authentic connections. I worked at a restaurant after my first job. It was a little bit more fine dining, and they really were a place where they had really high standards of care for talking to customers. Kind of ethos was really like expressing your own personality within the job you were at. And I know it was just a restaurant job, but I really actually felt I learned a lot there about how to talk to people. Since then, I've made a lot of friends, been able to create so many new, deep, authentic connections, as well as sustaining old ones. But the art of conversation and the art of learning social skills is also just about your ability to have a good conversation with somebody that's fleeting, to be able to connect with somebody, even if it doesn't turn into anything. And that's my first tip. Is something I always do is connect without an agenda. Best conversations occur without expectation and with a natural expression of what's meant to occur between you two. I watched this TikTok video, and in one of the points it talked about how like people are so starved of connection these days that when you have a really intimate or beautiful or romantic or even like loving moment with someone, some people may equate that as there's some kind of romantic spark or a sexual connection, and that's not necessarily the case. And the way that he described it, this creator, he said sometimes it's just love showing up in the moment between two people. I thought that was such a beautiful way to describe it, and that's honestly a lot of this ethos of this video and of conversation, taking away any expectation of where the connection needs to go, any predisposed ideas of who you think somebody else is. Like, tip number 2 is take people off of pedestals. The moment you put somebody on a pedestal, you really limit the ability to connect with who they're showing you they are in the moment. Also, I think as the person being put on the pedestal, it can feel very uncomfortable. People sense that you're putting them on a pedestal, and it can be hard to authentically express yourself when you feel like you need to somehow live up to this image that some person has of you in their head, or you're going to disappoint them if you show aspects of yourself that are a little bit more human. That doesn't mean you can't have admiration for people or respect or be in a position of humility when you have something to learn from somebody. But I think as a rule, always understand literally every single person on this earth is a human being, and within that place of common humanity is when we can really connect. The moment you take away from that and kind of put people on a pedestal position, it really blocks that ability to connect on that grounded level of humanity, which is the basis of all genuine human connection, is our common humanity. Connect with detachment. I know detachment is, I have like mixed thoughts about it, obviously, when it comes to like dating and how relationships have become so casual, and it's like detachment and avoidance. Like, that's not my vibe. But I think at the same time, every time that something has gone well for me, honestly, with human connection, is having an air of detachment. You shouldn't go into an interaction needing somebody to fulfill a need for you, needing somebody to be a certain way for you to be okay. Like, the best conversations and connections occur in that place of giving people the space to really express and show you exactly who they are. And within that knowledge, you can adjust yourself. So for example, if you want it to be closer than somebody else is presenting in your life as, that's something that you can adjust yourself for. There is no use trying to control other people, and the best way that you can love somebody and you can connect with somebody is like truly allow them with detachment to be exactly who they are. Don't need them to present in your life in a certain way. Don't need them to present in that conversation in a certain way. Just receive exactly who they are in the moment. Have an energy, I think, of confidence in yourself. Obviously, like, this comes with time. Honestly, guys, I have my socially awkward days, moments as well that make me cringe, but really know who you are, really be in a process of like following after the things that you're deeply interested in, taking care of yourself, living in a way that's like meaningful to you, because then you will have this energy of confidence in you where you know if this interaction doesn't go well, if you don't really vibe with this person, if this person isn't vibing with you for whatever reason, you don't have to take it so personal, and you're confident in your ability to move forward, make new friends, make new connections. And I think that air of detachment, and maybe another way to put it is abundance, understanding of abundance. There are an abundance of beautiful connections to have with people. I don't need you to show up in a certain way. I don't need you to be a certain kind of person for me. I'm going to enjoy you exactly as you are presenting in front of me. Another tip for conversation is asking questions, of course, being interested, but asking questions about them and their lives that genuinely interest you. The best conversations, I feel, occur from this place of that has an energy of like curiosity, passion, interest. Things that have an energy of curiosity and passion are always going to be more, it's going to be energetically charged. The more you can steer the conversation to a common place of curiosity, the better the conversation is going to flow. You're not going to be overthinking. You're going to have natural follow-up questions, natural contributions to the conversation. So I think two parts to this. One is showing interest, and the other is if you can show a genuine interest in something, that will steer the conversation into hopefully somewhere interesting. This is more like going into connection advice generally, but if you want to attract a certain kind of person, if you're wanting to have more conversations with creatives or people that are really inspiring, people that are really devoted to their goals, people that are really brave, the fastest way to do that is genuinely to embody those qualities. Show up fully as that version of yourself, and in that, you'll be able to naturally attract those people. It really shows me when I've shifted into a new energy and I notice like, oh, I'm kind of starting to attract different kinds of people, being able to attract people that I really admire. And that's like a good clue for me that I'm on the right track to embodying the kind of energy that I admire or that I value is who I'm attracting. We all have our unique charm. Like, I have my own unique charisma and charm that comes from me expressing myself authentically. The things that work for me are being really curious, or having a lot of energy when that's flowing naturally to me, or like being really like warm. Like, those are things that naturally come to me because that's my natural essence and personality. But everybody has a different charisma. I've met so many people that are like so quiet and like silent, but somehow have a beautiful way with people, and in their own way have their social intelligence, have their way of interacting with people. So if you can take anything from this video, is like, don't take anything that I say really as gospel. I mean, this just goes for life, but finding, I think, your own inner charm and charisma and what comes naturally to you is the process to engage in. And I think there are principles and rules to just having better conversations, like obviously listening to people or asking questions or being present or being authentic to yourself. But the way and the shape and the form that that's going to come is going to be really different for everyone. Don't perform, be. This is something I learned through working at the restaurant. Is I used to like really go into the interaction and really want to make like this good first impression and show my energy or show a certain kindness, and I was performing it rather than just existing in my energy. And when I noticed, I started shifting from performing and actually just started to be. This came with like, if I was in a lower energy, if I was in a calmer, softer energy that wet day, I wouldn't like, I'm not going to be like dreary on the floor, but I would authentically flow forward with the energy I was in and trust that everything that I am is going to naturally be expressing itself. Like, if you're a truly kind person, if you're a good-hearted person, if you have a genuine desire to connect with people, you don't need to demonstrate or perform that. That's going to naturally be communicated to people, and I think you need to trust in that. And I think whatever the moment is calling you to naturally be in. So yeah, as I said, if you're in a softer energy, flowing forward with that. Authenticity is the highest vibration. So even if you're in a less energized space, I noticed people would always respond better and the connections will be better. I think sometimes too, when you're performing, it blocks you from being tapped into where that other person's energy is as well as where your energy is. And then you're not even really interacting with what's in front of you. You're interacting with an idea of what you're trying to present in your head. And that goes into another one, is connect with people, the human being right in front of you presently. Like, of course, we're all going to have predisposed judgments, ideas, assumptions about the person that's in front of us, but people are so much more interesting than we ever think. Like, so many people I've met had an assumption about them, and yet I've kind of noted in my head to not let that assumption stop me from getting to know them in a deeper way. And if my assumption is proven wrong, and I've gotten to know them and my assumption is completely incorrect, people are so multifaceted. The best thing you can do to be a better conversationalist and be a better socializer is like be in presence to the human being in front of you and put down as much of your assumptions and judgments as possible, because then you will have clearer eyes to see the entirety of this person and their very interesting quirks and depths and ways of being. And that's the most fun, again, way to connect with someone, is in presence and in authenticity. And then lastly, I had don't assume negative intent. I put this in my video on Instagram. This is a difficult one, and I guess this is part of being a better socializer, is like, especially when people are like saying ambiguous statements to us and they kind of could be interpreted negatively or not. I've actually noticed this in the past. Someone says something ambiguous and I interpreted it negatively because in regards to this, I had a personal insecurity about the thing that they were commenting on. But actually, they didn't even mean it negatively at all. They meant it positively. And I think that's another thing to note, is like when somebody throws a negative energy or a backhanded compliment or an insult to us, I feel like if it's something that we already have like a personal wound or insecurity about, it definitely is more difficult to not react. Through that, we can learn so much about where we still need to heal or what kind of things bother us. There's a Buddhist saying about like, if you don't accept and agree with an energy that somebody is throwing at you, that energy just gets deflected right back to them, and that energy becomes only theirs, that negativity that they're throwing at you, especially with ambiguous statements. Take a moment and don't take it negatively. I think that was everything. I love connecting with people. I love creating connections with people. I love also the fleeting interactions. How beautiful is it to be able to have a fleeting interaction and connection with a stranger that you never speak to again? There's something beautiful and poetic about it that reminds you of our common humanity. Having social skills, especially in our day and age, increasingly is so valuable, and it's the kind of thing that I think will always be valuable. So much of our fulfillment in life comes from connection and community, and socializing is a skill, and I know that because I've built it so much more, and I continue to learn and build it all the time. And as I've built it, I've been able to connect with people more genuinely. It's a skill to really consciously cultivate and think about and find your own charisma and charm with. Yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any of your own thoughts around this topic, and I'm sending you so much love. I will see you in my next video. Bye.